Is it tough to qualify as a Section 8 tenant? I know you're not into the vetting process, but is it tough to qualify as a Section 8 tenant? What are the safeguards that the landlord can use to protect their investments, basically, not to make sure that they give the property to somebody that's going to come and destroy their property?
Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I was touching on a little bit ago,
Mm.
right? Again, you know, being in real estate, we can vet the people up front and everything looks great on paper. I mean, we've called the previous landlords, we've done all these things to determine that, yes, this person is qualified for the property, yet 3 months down the line, things can change, people change, right? So it's
Mhm.
really something that we can't forecast, if you will. But I mean, if one of the things we could do was, you know, the deposit situation. You know, we charge as a standard one times the rent and deposit. So if there was any doubt, maybe charging extra deposit up front would be ideal for someone who was just starting out to accept voucher clients. I didn't answer your question before where you were asking, in some cases, will the government pay 100%? The answer is yes. So those situations would be maybe if they earn little to no income, then yes,
Mhm.
the government would pay 100% of the rent and the tenant would not pay any rent. There are also situations where, and I'll just throw a number out. Let's say the rent is 2,400, the
Mhm.
tenant pays 200, the government pays 2,200, right? In the event there is a decrease in the tenant's income, then that's where, and that's the beauty of having someone who has a voucher, right? If the income dips or it increases, then the tenant's portion increases or decreases with that, right? So that is
Mhm.
protected. You know, if you're an investor looking to do this, that's one of the beautiful things about this is that that income is protected, right? If they write a government contract with you and say, okay, we've said that we're going to pay you this 2,400 for a year term, you can guarantee that you'll get it, regardless of if the tenant is paying more or if the government is paying more. But that's the beauty of having a voucher tenant, is because, you know, I think about COVID. I like to use this example during COVID. You know, it still gives me PTSD when you say COVID. Like everything shut down, people were losing their jobs. But just think, okay, if you had someone in your home who didn't have a voucher, right? That person lost their job. Maybe they didn't have a nest egg, right? So they couldn't pay you rent, right? They just
Mhm.
couldn't.
Mhm.
Then on the flip side of that, you have someone who maybe they were contributing toward the rent and they were a voucher tenant, right? Maybe they lost their job. The government picks up 100% of that, right?
Oh
So the
my
people
goodness.
who had voucher tenants in their home during COVID, that is the best example that I like to give. That, I mean, they were fine. They were still getting paid their rent. So that's the beauty of having a voucher tenant.